Greetings gamers, welcome to part number 55 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 10 Radiant Dawn. And in today's episode, continuing on with part 4 and moving on to another party. They were strong for Bjork. Has the Senate held back its forces?
No, I knew a few of them by face. Some of these soldiers were new recruits. I can't imagine how they could have fought against us so fiercely. Simple. They were protected by Ashira. I sent a message to Micaiah about the impending attack, then returned here as fast as I could. Ashira freed the petrified soldiers who would pledge loyalty to her. By themselves, they weren't a threat to skin puppets as strong as you, so she blessed their armor and weapons. Now they are worthy to be her true disciples, and their power will be stronger as we get closer to her. The battle will only get more difficult from here. Their weapons and armor are blessed by the goddess herself.
Is that similar to the Black Knight's armor? Or Ike's sword Ragnell?
It's the same idea, yes. The disciples' blessings were much weaker, because there were a lot of them. Still, it makes them a lot more powerful than they originally were. I'd like to bless you all with protection too, but I haven't been awake long enough to wield that kind of power. Sorry about that.
Sorry for the plot holes. Ashira has been awake as long as you have. How does she have power and you don't, when you are equal and opposite goddesses? Ooh, could it be because of plot contrivances? Ah, that was how they were able to stand against us.
Poor souls. When they were turned back from stone, they probably thought they were the chosen ones or something. No one is good enough for her, though. When she's done using them against us, they'll be turned to stone creatures again.
Micaiah, there you are.
Oh, it's her shadow again. I should go. All right, everyone. I'll see you later. Good luck.
Micaiah.
What?
Hey, glad to have you back. We should tell the other teams what happened here. I'm going back to sleep. I dislike being awakened so early in the morning, even if it is for battle. Yune was here again. I don't like that she keeps taking over your body. She should stick to being that stupid bird. Yes, I don't understand it either. What's the point? What's the purpose? Makes no sense.
Please don't say mean things about her. She's like an older sister to me.
Your older sister is a dark god?
I finally understand now. I remember the voice that used to warn me about impending danger. That was Yune's voice. I finally realized it this morning. Even as she slept, she watched over us. Yune loves Bjork and Legus with all her heart. I can feel it when she speaks through me.
Then why do people call her the dark god?
I don't know, but she doesn't like that name. It hurts her when you call her that.
Sorry, I won't call her that again.
You mean it? Then I forgive you.
Hey, is that you, Yune?
Sorry, I won't call her that again. Why can't you be that nice with me? To be honest, it makes me a little jealous. But that's alright, I guess. I know that Micaiah needs you. That's why I can't let you die. Here, come closer to me.
Hey, what are you doing?
Don't be so jumpy. I'm giving you the power to protect Micaiah.
And here goes South's Force promotion. I believe the only thief in the entire series that has a forced promotion. There is a thief in the series that has a hidden, sort of guided promotion, if you will. But this is the only thief in the series that has a forced promotion. So, a rogue, he turns into a whisper. Gets some pretty nice buffs to all of his stats. Though, one thing that I find very weird is that his maximum luck goes from 40 to 35 upon promotion. Very strange. I'm not entirely sure why he couldn't just keep the 40 luck max. Especially because if you have a full kitted out max statted Soth transfer from Path of Radiance to Radiant Dawn, he can have 40 luck if you are extremely RNG blessed and or if you abuse the system, as I would. And, well, then he loses 5 luck, and it just kind of blows my mind. Like, what's the point? Luck isn't even a strong stat in this game. I think there's only one game in this entire series where luck is all that powerful, and that would yet again be a game that people have probably heard me say a billion times, Thracia. And it is because that game affects multiple things, like your direct crit evasion, which it does in every other game, but in that game it's much more significant because there's way more enemies that have crit weapons. It also affects your Miracle, if you have Miracle, which is one of the most busted skills in that game, once it procs. It affects other things of other nature. For instance, your ability to double with staves, which is insanity. So that the fact that it also affects your hit and avoid and pretty much all kinds of other things, just in comparison, this game, the only thing luck does is it affects your hit and avoid and your dodge, your crit avoid basically. And those seem like they would be enough, but it's luck divided by 2. It's not just straight luck. So what that means is that even if he kept his 40 luck, even if he was somehow able to get 40 luck, which isn't really typical of him, I mean, sometimes you'll get it, but it's not super typical, he's going to have 20 dodge? Big deal. Wow, amazing. I feel incredible, like I could arm wrestle Scrimmer. I heavily doubt that, even untransformed.
Good. Always stay by Micaiah's side.
Yune?
No, it's me again. Disappointed?
Never. But I do wish she had at least let me thank her.
It just would have been embarrassed her. You know, you two are very much alike. You're both very stubborn.
Stubborn. You'd think that would be a quality of Ashira, since she's the one of order and not of chaos. Yeah, Interesting.
I'm just teasing you, Soth. Anyway, did you hear what the enemy said before the battle?
Yeah, they called out Lacane by name, no mistake about it. That means he's still alive, and probably not petrified, since they said he was their leader. I suppose we'll run across him once we get closer to the tower. That'll be our big chance.
Right. We must break the blood pact, no matter what it takes. Of course, our first goal is to save everyone from the goddess's judgment. But we have to break the pact while they're all stone. If we don't, we may save the world, but still lose Dayan. We seem to have missed our chance to speak with her. What a remarkable girl. Lady Micaiah can hear the voice of the goddess Yune and learn of impending danger. She is much like you, Empress Sanaki. Let us head back. Are you sure? You said before that it was imperative you speak with Lady Micaiah. It's not important. Forget it. Empress.
More bonus experience points. I am very appreciative of that factor.
Ike's route leads his group to the west. He is accompanied by his old comrades, Deputy Commander Titania and Master Tactician Soren. Also with him are Nyla, Queen of Hatari, the Heron Prince Raphael, Prince Kurthnaga of Goldoa, and his loyal subject Ina. Having received a warning from Micaiah about the Disciples of Order, Ike and company stay alert and wary as they cross into Celiora.
Chapter 1, Road to the Empire. Even though I am already in the Empire. Amazing. We've been traveling for miles now, and there hasn't been a single moving person.
And yet, the other plants and animals seem completely unaffected. The only creatures turned to stone were Legues and Bjork. A miracle of the goddess indeed.
My sister just sent a warning about some disciples of Order. Ashira has freed them from stone to fight for her. She's also blessed their weapons and armor. They'll only get stronger as we approach the tower. They nearly beat Leanne's team. Worse, they can attack at any moment, and we'd have no idea who or where they are. I'll start working on contingency plans. All right, we'll break here. Everyone, be sure to keep your weapons and supplies in reach tonight. Okay. Appearances. What's wrong, Prince Raphael? Are you feeling sick? No, I am all right. Thank you, though. You're a real puzzle, you know that? Why do you say that? You look a lot like your brother Rayson, but you're nothing like him. Rayson looks delicate, but on the inside, he's all iron. You, on the other hand, I don't know. I worry that I might kill you if I shout too loud or something. Yes, more of Ike's charm. I'm sorry. See? That's exactly what I mean. You should get mad at me for saying that, not say, I'm sorry. I mean, come on. He's a Huron. They are delicate, balanced legues. Like, oh my goodness. How many people talk about Ike being such a well-written lord need to get smited across the mouth? I apologize. There you go again. What I mean is that...
That's enough, Ike. Raphael's everything that Hurons are expected to be. Quiet, elegant, and delicate. Those are words people use to describe Hurons, and he fits all three.
Yeah, well, none of those words fit Raisin.
True. Maybe Princess Leanne is only so innocent and sweet because she was asleep for 20 years. Prince Raisin certainly doesn't seem to have any of the characteristics Hurons are known for.
King Tibarn did mention that real Hurons are more like Prince Raphael.
Prince Raisin spent a long time in the care of the Hawk tribe. No doubt he's picked up all sorts of quirks. Thank goodness Raisin hasn't picked up Tibarn's speech or mannerisms, though. It would be completely ridiculous. Can you imagine a man with Raisin's looks, talking and acting like Tibarn? I don't think I could help but laugh at him.
Well, he told me he wanted to be just like King Tibarn. He admires Tibarn a great deal. Raisin said that? Yeah, what about you? Well, sure, it'd be nice to be a bit more like Tibarn, I suppose. Well, it looks like you guys really are brothers after all.
Ike, be quiet. You're a bad influence. I won't allow Raphael to be tainted like that.
Thank you, Nyla. I appreciate you.
Ike.
What is it, Mist?
Take a look at this.
How odd. Looks like a master crown.
I had the strangest vision just now. There were these places on the ground which were shining. One was close, so I went to take a look, and here it was.
Stop it. You sound like Yune when you talk like that. The enemy could attack at any time, so don't go wandering around alone.
All right, you're the boss.
Holy Crown. Yes, so this is actually Mist's sole promotional item. So if you haven't leveled her up and you wanted to early promote her, this is the only way possible. And you're only getting it in part 4. I don't actually see a possibility of you using Mist throughout part 3 and not having her already promoted by the time of part 4. What this would be good for is if you wanted to early promote her in part 4 whilst having not used her, really. Especially if you were sparing bonus experience points for other folk, because as you can see, I have so much bonus experience points it's coming out my ears. Very strange.
Ooh, it's my hero, Ike. I'll take the spot next to you.
Hello, Amy.
Would you do me a favor? Take this and give it to Little Soren. It's an extremely rare item. We don't know what we'll run into out here. He'll be ready for anything with a powerful tome like this.
What? You can't give it to him yourself?
Oh, no way. I'm trying to get your attention, so I'd much rather give it to you.
That's very direct of you.
Because you can be so thick sometimes, I swear. You wouldn't know how I felt if I didn't tell you outright.
Even if I did, I wouldn't do anything about it.
That's fine, I understand. You still have things you want to do, places you want to explore. That's why you don't want to be tied down by a relationship. I know how you are. But someday you'll be ready to settle down. When you are, maybe you'll think of me. That's why I'm starting work on you now. Don't worry about it, for now.
But it does worry me.
See, you're already under my spell. Now, good night. Sleep well, my hero.
That woman has issues with reality. And you have issues with sanity. What's your point? Let's see. I don't particularly believe... I could give Raphael and Nyla in a support. Not truly all that important in the grand scheme of things. I am going to be using Nyla and Raphael in this chapter. Well, potentially not Raphael, just because he might get KO'd. But otherwise, it's just kind of a strange setup. And I'd love to keep on chatting with you and keep this episode going, but I have things to do, including managing my convoy. I will see you all in just a few. And I am back, gamers. So, Ike and his vanguard promotion. He is the general of Yune's army. He actually gets a new weapon type. He can use axes now, like a true hero in the franchise could. Would you ever do this? No. The hand axe is great and all, but by the time he gets this promotion, he has the Ragnell. So the only reason why you would do this is if you wanted to particularly use a specific double S rank axe later on with Ike. The problem is, and this is very important to note, that it basically means one of your other units is going to be disarmed for certain fights later on. And it's something I can't really spoil right at this moment, but it's very strange that this is the case. I believe Ike should have been able to use swords and axes from the very start of this game. In fact, it's one of the worst things about his promotion in Path of Radiance, is that he doesn't get axes, being how strong axes are in the Tellius games. Now, when he gets his Ragnell in that game, it's wonderful, but we're talking about the end of Chapter 27. You got 2 chapters afterwards where he can be used. And then you have Aether, which can launch consecutive attacks of Sol and Luna. This is misleading in this game, because Luna in this game and Sol are triple attacks. They're basically crits alongside their other functions. In this game, no, it's basically the exact same thing it is in Path of Radiance, except for the fact that Luna doesn't have defense in this game. It makes defense 0. This is the least busted, I want to say, mastery skill in this game. Even though it's still fantastically good, it is still very fantastically good. Aether in Path of Radiance is better than most of the regular old skills in most of the games beforehand. So Aether getting an upgrade in this game, it's still probably the least busted. I actually like this a lot because I don't really think that Sol, Luna, and all the others needed that extra crit upon their special, attribute. It just doesn't make all that much sense. But, yes, so alongside that, and then I do have Nyla here, which I'm going to be giving her quite a lot of healing items in the case of needing to heal her without a healing unit. Though I have missed, I can heal her with a staff if I so needed. But the reason why I bring this up is that I'm going to be using Nyla for this chapter particularly, though she is not well suited. And also, there is a Worm Slayer in the bargain that I have already purchased. After I did, I realized that I had 3 others, so it's kind of not all that necessary. I don't think I would possibly need 4 Worm Slayers. But there is a particular chapter coming up that really benefits from Worm Slayers. And it's definitely something to keep in mind. But everybody has been kitted out, and it is ready to start the next chapter. Ina, how is Prince Kurthnagat feeling?
Not good. He keeps staring into space. He won't say anything, and he hasn't touched a bite of his food.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wanted to ask him some questions, but it can wait. Ike, we're under attack. They've already surrounded us. What? That's not possible.
How could they get this close without us seeing them? I don't know. There was no sign or scent of their approach. I wonder if they simply materialized.
Ina, stay here. Protect Kurthnagat's tent at all costs.
Understood.
Everyone, watch the perimeter. There are a lot of them, but just focus on one enemy at a time. Yeah, I'm not so sure that that's valid advice. Focus on one enemy at a time when there are a supposed lot of them. Alright, Soren, you are definitely not joining this fight. In fact, most of my units aren't joining this fight. Raphael is probably a bad pick here as well, just because of the fact that, well, I mean, it's pretty obvious why that is. But there are flying units in this chapter, as well as folks to reinforce back here. It's just not a good idea to have Raphael here. What I do technically like to do is I like to have more units than just these few, because of the fact that you don't really have to guard this tent. There's really nothing that will happen if, I'm almost certain, conditions. Yeah, Ike dies. It doesn't matter if Ina dies. It also doesn't matter if this tent is absconded or whatever. I'm just going to have Nyla to the right because I'm going to have her get the arm scroll, which is right here, and deal with whatever enemies that are coming over here, while I take Ike and Mist down south. I was thinking about even taking Titania down with them as well, because I think Danved should be perfectly fine up here dealing with the left side, as well as the interior defense. It doesn't sound like a lot of units, and I will grant you, I do not have a lot of units in this chapter to use, but this is typically how I play this game. Ike's team is the most blessed with powerful units, so in reality, they don't particularly need all that much help. Which reminds me, actually, I think what I need to do is not bring Mist down here. That's kind of a bit of a shame. Shift. And of course attack. Now Nyla doesn't really need the healing items. What I did for her was I gave her temporarily Imbue and Renewal. So she's going to restore, while transformed, a total of 16 per turn. Which is a pretty fair bit. I mean, it's better than a Vulnerary. But alongside a Vulnerary, she can heal much more in combination. Ike's basically going to get a whole lot of time to train this chapter. And yes, I am going to have Mist back here defending. I didn't bring enough weapons on her to do really anything else. Steel Lance, Steel Lance. Let's put you here. And I guess Titania can help a little bit with the southern folks, especially because it's going to be kind of a bit of a rough battle. Ike all by himself. I'm just going to make sure that nobody enters this central area. Titania's not actually going to go with Ike all the way down. I just don't necessarily want Ina to perish if I can avoid it. So there is that. Very good, Titania. Yeah, it sounds like I'm changing the plans on the fly, but with as few units as I have, it's kind of necessary. Interesting. I halfway want to say that the boss in this chapter also moves, as long as you get within her range. All right. Yeah, Titania is also in need of healing, or not healing, in need of experience points, just like Ike. So having her fend off a little bit of the southern portion and letting Ike just deal with, like, the boss, for instance, I think is a very good idea. Because all of these chapters, being route chapters, take forever. And buddy, do I mean forever. Especially when you have things like people being constantly healed. It's kind of a bit unfortunate. Steel Poleaxe. I'm going to take out you. This is one of the very big issues of having Legu's units and using them. Nyla could be triple the strength, and she still can't deal with 1-2 range. Alright, Ike. Go ahead and strike that Pegasi down. I'm going to move Titania back just a hair, so that she's not attacked by too many units, because I would still rather Ike be the one who's getting the majority of the experience points here. He has Blossom, so his experience points are halved, and a lot of folks would probably not necessarily do what I'm doing here, because this one singular chapter can basically turn, especially if you use Paragon, can turn Ike into basically a max leveled monster. Nice. A crit, and you did 3 damage. Again, there is plenty of reason why I will not turn the animations on for these chapters, and it just has to do with the fact that they are route chapters. You get continuous reinforcements. It is very, very much so non-time friendly, to say the least. Yeah, and for some reason, these guys will just attack all the sandbags, even if there's way open. Like, look at that. Well, what's the point of that? What are you doing that for? Yep, another sandbag. It's really quaint. It's almost like the developers were trying to harken back to the snags in both FE7 and FE8. I want to say it's in FE6 as well. I'm not too sure on that one, but wanted to harken back to that, and how like the AI is almost forced to break those down. I find that very hilarious and somewhat incredibly strange. Now, I like putting Blossom on Ike because he desperately needs resistance and speed. Those are 2 stats that he 100% requires to have by the time he would fight a certain fateful encounter later on. Okay. Just strike you a bit. I'm going to Physic Ike. I don't think he actually needs it, but I do know that there are magical units in this chapter. And being honest with you, even a max resistance Ike is still going to take pretty chunky damage from magical units at this point in this game. And he's nowhere near his max. If I'm not mistaken, his max is 23 resistance, which is abysmal, to say the least. But he doesn't have it, and he's not going to have it. Steel Sword. One of the many reasons why I decided to put some swords on her. The sword-wielding mercenaries, swords masters kind of thing, they have too much speed and avoid, as well as weapon triangle advantage, to be reliably KO'd by someone like Titania in that matter. Alright, gonna have to use the short spear here. What it does mean by having less units... Ooh, nice crit. Having less units means that the units that I do have are going to gain more experience points by and large, due to the fact that, you know, more focus of battles are put on them. Yep, and that is, I believe, Karo. Very interesting. The dark magics in this game are, I want to say, unique. There is no Flux in this game, no Jormungandr. I do want to say there is Fenrir. I think Fenrir is the long-range dark magic tome. But Worm and Karo and Varine, those are the regular tomes. Very nice, Danved. Taking one unit out at a time. And he's doing a fantastic job of it. I do want to say, though, that Impale is like Astra in the fact... Well, not really like Astra. Astra will do 5 separate attacks, so if it KOs after 2, you won't see the 3 other attacks. But Impale attacks with 4 hits, and I do believe that does waste weapon usage. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that is the case. Alright, so nothing there quite yet. Yeah, having at least one physic-using healer per party is, I think, a good idea. I actually think it's an incredibly terrible idea not to have at least one. Okay. The killer bow. I was wondering why you crit her, but I can see that now. You had a killer bow. What kind of insanity? She actually has an A rank in swords, which I do believe means that she can use things like the Tempest Blade. Not a bad choice on her either, because it's a good long-range alternative to something like a Tomahawk, because it is more powerful than a Tomahawk. That is one thing about the long-range swords in this game. They are actually stronger when you get to the maximum, because the Tempest Blade is 18 might. The Tomahawk, if I'm not mistaken, is either 14 or 15, and that's the best that the axes get for range. Whereas the Tempest Blade isn't even the best that the swords get for range. And no, I'm not even including the fact that, yeah, you know, Ike has his own. Killing Edge. I'm going to use the Brave Axe here. So using Brave weapons early like this seems like it would be a little bit of a waste, but the very important distinction and reality of that is that the Brave weapons in this game are actually not that good for endgame usage. That's going to sound very silly, especially to people who typically know the Brave weapons in the series to be fantastic weapons. But the double S rank weapons in this game are just so powerful. No Thunder. Danved is getting a lot of use out of that Adept, and I really thoroughly appreciate it. I mean, he does have a lot of speed, so there is that to make sense of. And he's just about to get his double S rank in Lance. Ike doesn't need a double S rank or a double S rank, well, a double S rank in either swords or axes, though he can get both. He's one of the few units in this game that can get both. You got an arm scroll. Very nice. That's all I was really waiting for. Don't worry, buddy. You'll be taken out soon. Very nice. Yeah, he needs as much experience points as possible, and I would love it if he would start capping out some of his stats. Especially if he was to get better levels than that, to be certain. There's his double S rank. And I would really like to know what's up with that general. Alright, take out this soldier. I think I'm going to use the Brave Axe on you, and then I'm going to attack the other unit with Ike, of course. Move Titania back as far as possible. Well, maybe not that far. It would be nice if she got some more experience points, too. I'm probably going to send her to the left, whereas Ike is definitely going towards the boss at this moment. There's plenty of units over here he can take out. Steel Great Lance. I do not think it's necessary for me to use the Killer Lance on you. Probably wasn't necessary for him to use the Killer Lance, period. But that is the end of my turn. Yeah, the magical units down here have missed Ike by and large, which is nice. Especially because the dark magic users probably would have done somewhere in the realms of almost half his HP or more. Which, you know, you don't need me to tell you. That's a terrible, horrible thing. Very nice. Good job, Titania. Take her out. Level 9. Not that great of a level, though she is only 1 strength away from her max. So there is that to keep in mind. Doesn't matter how quick you KO the boss in this chapter either, because the fact of the matter is that this is a route chapter, not a defeat boss chapter, and the enemies are just going to keep spawning in. And because I'm not using anything like torches, which I just don't see the point in this particular chapter, I just deal with it. Though, with that being said, I think this is a perfect opportunity to say my farewells. I want to thank you for joining me. If you like my content, please vote and follow, or like and subscribe depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.